everybody. Hope you're all having a great day. Now we're fixing to put the headlights in the Tundra. They're the GTR Generation 3 Headlight Revolution headlights. I'd like to thank Doug for sending me these. A subscriber sent me these headlights to install in my truck, and I greatly appreciate that. I'm going to show you what comes in the box here and some extra stuff that was sent, and then I'll show you how to put them in. Let's turn the camera down. So as you can see right here, it has 2 new boots that come with it. You get a couple of the little inputs, the harnesses. Then inside this box here, you have the Headlight Revolution headlight. These are actually lighter in weight than the fog lights were. I just installed the fog lights, and the heat sink must be a little bit wider or something to dissipate heat better or something, but these are actually a lighter weight. Doug also sent me an extra headlight bulb. I appreciate that, but that's what you get when you order these, and we're gonna get these installed. So let me go show you how to disassemble half the front of the truck, then we'll put them in, because Toyota, didn't make it where you could just change them from the inside. So you have to disassemble part of the truck. So we'll get to that here in just a minute. Okay. We're back out here to the truck now. You have to disassemble part of the truck. You have to take the grill off. There's a couple of little covers right here you have to take off on the sides. And since I have Bushwhacker Fender Flares, I have to take part of them loose. So let's get to taking part of this apart. So the first thing you got to do is take off these, they're 10 millimeters or Phillips head. I just had a 10 millimeter socket on this because that's what takes off my Bushwhacker Fender Flares. So there are 4 screws in the top you have to remove. Pretty straightforward right here on this, and I'll show you what you have to do if you have Bushwhacker Fender Flares as well. It would probably be easier if I didn't have those, or if I'd done this prior to having those, but hopefully it's not a hard task even with those. So you have those loose. Next, I've just got a flathead screwdriver. I'm just going to pop out these little tabs right here. As you can see, there's one on each side here. And I think that is all that holds this up. You just kind of pull up on it like that. Okay, once you get your tabs off up here, pull up a little bit and pull out. And it should just pop right off. It should. Mine seems to be tight. Very tight, actually. Let's do the other side. See if we can get it popped loose. There we go. Got it popped off on the bottom. Pull up on it a little bit. And it just pops right off like that. There are the tabs across the bottom. You have to make sure they get popped loose. As you can see here, there are tabs across the bottom. Pop those loose and it slides right out. Next, there are some little tabs right here. You have to take these out, which is a little bit harder to get to than the other ones were, but not bad. So you pop that one out. There's one also at the bottom right here you pop out. Just want to make sure you can see it. Now, I don't want to mix these up with the other ones, so I'm actually going to stick these in my other pocket. But first of all, before we even get started on the rest of this right here, because this has to come off, let me show you what you have to do next. So now if you're like me and you're running Bushwhacker Fender Flares, you have to take these off. And that sucks because this wasn't easy to get lined up. Hopefully since they've been on here so long, they won't be hard to get back lined up. But I'm gonna take off about 3 of these bolts throughout this. These wasn't hard to put on, but some of them were a little bit difficult to line up. And I never thought I'd take them back off. But hey, I guess, it is what it is. We upgrade our trucks, and so now I can pull this out some. As you can see here, it's loose. I can pull it out. So let's get back up to the front and I'll show you how to take the rest of it off. Okay, so we're back up here in the front. This is the piece that has to come off. So as you can see, I can pull this out some. So we take this, we kind of pull it out this way, and it should just pop right out, I hope. That sounds a lot worse than it was because it has these little tabs right here. So that wasn't too bad. That actually came off pretty easy. Next, we have to take these 2 bolts right here out, which should also be 10 millimeters. And they are. You have to assemble half this truck. I can't believe that Toyota made a vehicle that you have to take half a truck apart to change your headlights. It looks like there might be one right here on the side you have to take off as well. This one is actually a 10 millimeters. Truly, it does not have a Phillips head in it. And don't you always drop a bolt. So this one is actually made different than other ones. That does have my headlight loose now. I'm actually just gonna lay these on the ground because I don't want to get them mixed up either. Your headlight should just come out now, hopefully. You have to pop these little pieces up right here. I've never actually took the headlight off this truck, so there we go. It just pops right out now. So we're going to lay this down very gently, not to scratch anything. And this bulb right here is the one we're going to be replacing. Okay, you do have to take the boot off. There is a little tab in here you actually have to pop loose, and then the bulb comes out. I forgot about that. I remember seeing that before on the video. So if I can get the rest of that boot to come loose right there. There we go. That just pops off. And then you can take your boot off. And then after you get your boot off, there's a little tab in there that holds it in place. All right, so I got this side figured out. So let me go get the other headlight. We'll put it back in. Okay, I'm back with the new headlight, the LED one. You have your boot and everything that goes with it. Set these down here. Now you have this little ring right here that comes off. They say you put this in first, just like the other ones came out. They'll just line up. Go back in there, put your tabs back in to hold it in place, like the other one was. Then they say stick your boot on. So you just slide your new boot over the headlight housing. Then you take this. This does have 2 little tabs on it here. Now you want this turned sideways. It'll give you the best light with these turned sideways. Luckily you can see it and hear which way it is. So you just slide this in, turn it till you get it put in. And I got mine turned sideways on the first try, and it's all locked in and everything's good. But we are going to test this to make sure it works good before we finish plugging it up. Again, sorry for the traffic. I live on a little back road, but it's like Indy 500 here. So you have your wiring harness. Yet again, it does have an arrow on it that coincides with the arrow on this. Plug those up together like so. Then just plug this in like the other one was, like that. Now let's see if this works. And as you can see, we do have a very bright LED in there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I will tell you it is on. Let's try the high beam. The high beam come on as well. Actually, while I'm doing it, I just want to make sure both sides of the LED is working. That side is working. Make sure the other side's working on low. I didn't check it. Yep, that side's working as well. Now you just do everything in reverse order. Well, first of all, I actually have to zip tie some of this stuff in. I got to figure out where I'm going to zip tie it first of all. That's a lot of zip ties. Put this back up here now. Like so. Pop that back in, pop these back over, and we're back in. All right, time to put screws back in. So those 3 screws are right here. They're 10 millimeters. So I'm just going to start the ones in the top. I'm not going to tighten everything down until I get it all started. Remember, 2 of these are the same, one of them's different. The one in the side is actually different. I can see why Headlight Revolution doesn't actually show you how to do all this on their videos. That's kind of a pain, ain't gonna lie. There we go, it's back in. Now we just have to put the side pieces back on, which I hope is easier. Because this is kind of another thing they didn't show you on the video when they was installing it. So I don't know how hard this is. Finding out the stuff they're showing you, or not showing you, isn't the easiest part of the whole thing. So it should just pop back in, I hope, like that right there. And it did. Right like that. We have the 2 clips that should be in my pocket. That was actually really easy to put on. I was glad to see that. So they just pop in like that, like that. Now for the fender flares, we just put those 3 screws back in them. Not really going to show this part on camera because really all you're doing is just reinstalling 3 screws. Pretty sure everybody knows if you took them out, you got to put them back in. So probably not going to really show this part. I will tell you though that this lined up very well. I was a little worried about that, but it lined up really, really good. Make sure your rubber's back in good on your fender flare. Then finish tightening down the last screw. Like that. There we go. This side is all back together now. Okay, so let's move to the other side. Maybe I can do it a little better since I figured out the first one. Okay, so here we are. Let me find the headlight. Here it is. It's hard to kind of see it in the camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the screws out of the fender flares. I showed you how to do that last time. I'm not going to show you this side again because it's the same identical thing, just the other side. You probably will need to take 3 of them out though. 3 screws out. Okay, we'll go ahead and take these out now. I know you have to take that bottom, let's go ahead and take the bottom piece off. Just in case it tries to pull the headlight out with it. I don't think it will, but just in case, we'll go. It's easy to take this piece off, so we'll just go ahead and do it. 2 little tabs. Pull your fender flare out, if you have fender flares. One more pop. There we go. I want to show you something. Fender flares, let me just wipe this off real quick. A lot of people may ask, does fender flares scratch your vehicle? I don't know if you can see that line right there. Yeah, I'm not going to say you can't get that buffed out, but I'm going to say fender flares will scratch your vehicle because I can literally see that line right down through there. I can see it in the camera. I didn't show it on the other side, and I don't know what made me think about it, but I'm sure the whole truck where those are touching look like that. Like I said, it doesn't look bad enough that you probably can't have that buffed out. It probably will come out, but right there is what it'll look like if you put fender flares on your truck. You can see that line right there. Would I do it again? Yes, because I was throwing rocks up and scratching my truck. At least now I'm not throwing rocks up and scratching my truck. So, you know, I can pay $100, $150 or whatever it costs to have my side of my truck buffed, or $200. I'm not even sure. I've never had a vehicle buffed, but whatever it costs, it'd be a lot more to repair paint chips all over it, unless you just wanted to touch it up, make it look bad with just like touch-up paint from somewhere. I don't like how that looks. It never really looks really smooth, but it'd be a whole lot cheaper than paint correction as far as chips. This one does not want to come out on this side. It's loose. It's just tighten hole. Got it there. Set those down right there. Now we have to kind of pull up on these little tabs right here. Get those popped loose. Then you have to pull out on the bottom, because there is a little place there. This headlight came right out. This one was easier than the other one, I guess because I kind of know what I'm doing now. So we'll unplug this that we didn't do on the other side first. I remember to unplug your wiring harness, but it is what it is. Pull your boot off. Pop this little holder loose, and then there's your headlight. When you do it once, see how easy it is? Here again, here's your headlight. We'll lay this stuff down right here for a second. You have to take this little boot off. Stay. Okay, so you'll just set this in like the other one came out. There is a large tab. I want to show you this. I didn't realize that, didn't see it. There is a large tab on this. The other two are small. The large goes towards the top. Just a hint that I didn't get. And I just now noticed it. So you put that in, place your new boot back on. Just slide it over, make sure it's snug down. Take your new headlight, slide it through. Turn it around until it falls in place, and then twist it in. Those are turned sideways as well, so it's installed correctly. Take this really long wiring harness. Remember to line up your arrows. Pop it in like so. Just want to make sure mine's plugged in good. You might be able to use black tape on that or something. I'm not. It seems to be very well. These have a lifetime warranty. So they're supposed to be, you know, IP67 or something, waterproof. So I'm not really super duper worried about that. Then again, time to zip tie. I'm gonna call that good. That's zip tied in pretty well right there. Don't think I'm gonna have any issues with that. Now what we're gonna do is just set it back up here. Go inside and turn it on. Let's see if it's working. I can tell you that it is working. I can see the LEDs. I'm gonna turn them on high and make sure it's working. The high is working as well. This one's good to go. But these things are supposed to be super duper bright, and I really believe they probably are. Just want to make sure I got it in there good. Everything's set up right. Okay, now we're going to set this back in like it goes. Slide this little tab back on there. Pop these down like that, and the headlight's sitting back in. Now all we got to do is put the screws back in. I can remember. There we go. The same way I did before, I'm just going to start them and then tighten them down after I get it all kind of where it's supposed to be. This is the easy part. Snug the side up, snug this top one down, snug this top one down. There we go. Make sure it's good and snug. Don't want to move it around or anything. And there we go. That headlight's back in now. Time to put it all back together in reverse order. Next is this little piece. Just pull your fender flare out a little bit. Just back up in here and line it up. And it'll just pop back in like that. Got the two little tabs in my pocket here, and then I just dropped my fender flare screws, but that's okay. Slide that in there and just pop these two little tabs back in. That secured that. Now your fender flares.
You got 3 screws on your fender flares, put back in. I'm gonna tighten on down, but I did all started. Just like I did the headlight, I want to make sure they're in correctly. Make sure your rubber's seated back on the fender flares correctly. And then, I push in on mine to make sure I got a tight fit. Snug them down good.
and the fender flares back on. All right, so it's all back together so far, except for the grill. All right, let's get the grill back on, and our LED project will then be finished. Factory rubber boot, we'll make sure we get that back down there with the other ones. Okay, so to put this on, you take your alignment tabs and stick them in the slots that they go. Down here in the bottom, like so. Kind of lift up on this to make sure it's in right. Pop these back in. These will just pop over like that. Just make sure you get those 3 popped in down here. And it seems like I do. I will now put these 2 little pops back in here, like that. Then the last thing you got is your 4 screws that go and hold the rest of the grill in. Then again, I'm just going to start these, not tighten them down until I get them all in. That's just the way I do things. You can do it any way you want to. I like to make sure everything's in and then kind of put it where it needs to go and then tighten it down. Did not check this, make sure everything was good. Everything looks good down there. That's a little bit tight right there. Let me tighten that down just a hair. Tighten this one down. Tighten this one down. Tighten that one down. Then tighten that one down. It's all back together. It's all sturdy. Everything's lined up. Everything looks good. Everything down here looks good. I'm hoping that little metal box right there doesn't vibrate against anything. I'm just trying to push it up. Let's see what it looks like. So that's what it looks like. Can't tell any difference till you turn the headlights on. Be before and after pictures just as all the rest of them were. And that's how you install headlights. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.